That's interesting.
He signed an extension. You probably saw that.
I did not. Big news kicking off the show.
Well, that was like Friday, maybe?
Well, I didn't hear about this.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Friday.
Anyways, welcome to the Week 15 Fantasy Football Preview Show. Pretty good delay today. It's only like 1 second.
Nice.
So.
1 second. Nice.
So. Anyways, it's the semis.
It is.
And it's time for you to win your matchup. So ask your questions. We're going to be going through some guys that I'm high on, that Matt's not as high on, guys that Matt's high on, that I'm not quite as high on. And we're going to talk about the man in the back, Maury Cooper, and why I think you'd be smart to avoid him this week. Going up against the Rams, we're going to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. Don't think he's playing at 100%, but I'd be looking to avoid him. But anyways, Matt, why don't you kick it off with the inactives? Bo Scarborough, you were saying.
Bo Scarborough is out, so pull him from your lineups.
Not that he was a good start at all to begin with.
Damian Williams, out.
That's good news for Shady.
Everybody else pretty much in that you expect here. Jameis playing, of course. Derrick Henry's active. Devontae Parker's active.
And has a new contract.
So I'm kind of surprised even more that they're playing him now, based off of that. Yeah, that's...
I guess he had, concussion loss and he had to leave? But if you clear concussion protocol, then you should be good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's
I'd give him an
injury.
extra week in this situation, but that's me.
Well, they want to get the worst pick, so they got to start their best offensive weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Parker.
Fair enough.
Weird. I don't know. I thought they'd move on from him. I mean, he hasn't really clicked for 4 years.
4
other than
years.
spots here and there.
4 years, $40 million. Not like they're dumping a whole lot of money into him.
No, but
I thought he'd get more on the open market, actually.
he probably would have. He probably would have gotten at least 12.
Could have ended up on my squadron. But okay, I think
your fantasy football team?
No.
Any other big news for inactives? Connor is playing, but he's going to be splitting.
Don't trust him at all.
He's going to be splitting with Snell and Jalen Samuels, so that's a full-blown committee at this point. Here's something somebody asked me today: should they drop Benny Snell and go and pick up Patrick Laird? Who I was like, no, because Connor's going to get injured by a gust of wind that's going about 3 miles an hour. Or if he blows his nose, he might
Especially
pull
not for
something.
Patrick Laird.
Yeah, Patrick
now,
Laird.
if Kareem Johnson was available in that guy's league, maybe.
That would be an interesting play there, yeah. Who the Lions play next week, do you know? Off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
All right.
Packers in week 17, I know that.
Well, that's unimportant
Not right now, yeah.
for the finals next week. But anyways, like I said, it's the semis. So let's talk weather, because this is the time of year when weather can kill your season. Matt, you got any weather?
Just the frigid, cold temperatures in Green Bay. We're looking at... The picture just went black. Oh, there we go. Oh.
Just struggling today, I guess.
Yeah, anyway, it's really cold in Green Bay there. So that's going to hurt the quarterbacks likely, and probably the top pass catchers in Adams and Robinson. Still got to play them, but...
You probably sit Rodgers. There are better options than Rodgers this week for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Adams and Robinson.
No, yeah, for sure. Adams has gotta be in your lineup. Unless you had Jameson Crowder and could have played him on Thursday, that would have been a great move.
Yeah, well, how many people are doing that? And you probably weren't starting Trubisky as it was, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I've really heard about for weather-wise. It's a bit of a... There was a snowstorm on the East Coast, but I think that's all cleared up.
So
It's supposed to snow in Kansas City.
That's the one I was just looking at right now.
But apparently their field is good enough to handle that.
Yeah, and it's only going to be a 1/4 inch per hour during the game, so not a lot. Yeah, so the heating system was good.
There.
Apparently the winds in LA are supposed to exceed 20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So that'll make it more of a running game if that's the case. Minnesota Chargers.
Yeah.
And that's about
20
all.
isn't.
20 miles is a pretty big deal.
It's not that big a deal.
Usually anything over 10 is not unimpactful, but, you know. Anyways, let's move on to the rankings gap.
Still going to start Cousins anyway.
Oh, well, I mean, your other option is...
Well, I almost picked up just Ryan Tannehill and rolled that.
What a transition. The first player we're going to talk about in the rankings gaps. Ryan Tannehill, who Matt is quite low on compared to me, myself, and of course Mr. Black, who couldn't be here today. He wanted to, but couldn't make it out for the semis. Maybe for the finals next week, right, Mr. Black?
Ooh, that'd be a surprise guest appearance.
Ryan Tannehill, Matt, you got him at 15, going up against Houston, 28th ranked defense against quarterbacks. I have him ranked 9. Mr. Black has him ranked 7th. By the way, nobody commented on who I should start between Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, and Kirk Cousins in my 2-quarterback league. Disappointing. Come on, guys.
I told you.
To sit Tannehill?
Yeah, out of those 3, yeah.
Yeah, I just worried Brady could put up an egg.
He could. Cousins honestly could.
Tannehill could.
Yeah. I mean, Tannehill's probably got the highest floor of those
I don't
3.
think this Houston's defense is as bad as people make it out to be.
No.
I know
They
Denver
did
was
pretty well
crazy.
against New England a couple weeks ago until the very end of the game, and they didn't really care. Yeah, Tannehill's just they're built through Derrick Henry though. That's the problem with that offense, right? It's hard to rely on him for a top 10 play anyway. Having said that, I almost picked him up.
And started
I did
over
not.
Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins.
But I did not.
Yeah, I think he's a fine play this week. But it's the same, there's still that I just don't believe 100% yet because he's had games where it's just like if they can't run the ball, I don't know. It's one of those things where I trust him, but I just don't trust him that much.
They can't run the ball with Derrick Henry.
Well, Derrick Henry was dealing with injury all week,
Yeah.
so but he says he's going.
Yeah, if Henry was out, that would be.
If Henry's out, you couldn't start anyone because they would be like, "Go ahead, run. We're gonna run with Deion Lewis."
Yeah.
This isn't 2013. Next up, Calimary, my guy. Forgot to color code this. I have him ranked number 5. Both you and Mr. Black down on him. You have him at 13. What's not to like about this Cleveland matchup, Matt? 17th against quarterbacks.
I guess 13 isn't an insulting ranking. I don't think he's a top 5 play. That's for sure. He's just up and down. He's very risky.
I don't think he's risky. He gets points every week.
He's up and down most weeks. You're relying on like 80 yards rushing here, and it could happen. You saw I have him as my DFS guy this week because I don't think he's gonna be that highly owned. And if he's quarterback number 5, that's great for me. Anyhow, Cleveland's defense isn't that terrible. They're gonna be running it a little bit. They don't have a great pass catcher, so he's good. He's not great.
Yeah, like looking here at some of his bad games, he had 2 bad games. One at New York, and one at New Orleans, and then the last 2 weeks against these tough defenses, the Rams and the Steelers, he put up still 13 and 14 points. So he didn't kill you, but it's not good. But before that, he had 3 weeks of, he had 2 weeks of over 26 points, and 1 week over 23. I mean, on the year, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of 13 games where he's above 20 points. He has a couple of 16, 17s, and then the 14, 12s, and then he does have a 7 there. But I don't know. I like him. I think he's fine. I think this can be a high-scoring game. I don't think either of these defenses do a lot. They'll be chasing points as they normally are. But let's move on to Jacoby Brissett, who I like as a top 10 play, and you do not.
Explain why he's a number 10.
Because of what Jimmy Garoppolo did last week and what he did against Tampa Bay last week. He proved he could score points against bad defenses, and he gets a bad defense this week. And Marlon Mack's back again.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to score big points.
T.Y.'s questionable. Game time decision, actually.
I assume T.Y. won't play.
Yeah, it's a game time decision for him.
Yeah. If you have T.Y. Hilton in your lineups, put somebody else in. You can't wait. Unless you have Zach Pascal ready to go for T.Y. Hilton. Because I like Zach Pascal as a good start this week. I don't think he's on the list, no. Because I think we all liked him around as a
30.
top. I think he's higher than that.
I think I had 30-ish.
No, we all liked him a fair bit. Last quarterback to talk about is going to be Jimmy G, who I think is a sit this week. And it's not because he's bad. It's not because it's a bad matchup. But it's because they're going to run all over them. And in games where they've run all over teams, he hasn't done much. So I don't believe in him this week. If you want a ballsy sit, Jimmy G, ballsy sit, start Jacoby Brissett instead. Matt?
I just expect him to put up like 40s against this Falcons defense. And probably about 3 of those touchdowns are going to come through the air. So That's why I like Jimmy G this week. I agree. They're going to be all over Atlanta. I think they're going to have their way.
Oh, I agree, but I just think it's going to be on the ground.
They're gonna do both, air and ground. 3 touchdowns for Garoppolo this week.
3 there it is. Call. I'm going to go with 1, maybe 2. You know what? I'll just take the under on that 3. I'll give you over. I'll give you 3 and up. I'll take 1 and 2.
All right.
So you get all. You can get even 15. If you get 15, you're right.
Perfect.
All right, moving on to the running backs. Sean McCoy, Matt, quite high on him at 19 against Denver, ranked 9th against the run. 28 for myself, 31st for Mr. Black. Matt.
What other running back do you think they're going to use? Thompson?
I think they'll use Ware. They'll use Thompson. It's basically a
I
committee.
forgot about Ware.
Forgot where Ware was.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think he's going to be... It's a high-scoring offense. I like running backs in high-scoring offenses. He's going to catch probably about 3 or 4 balls out of the backfield. Probably run it about 15-ish times. Probably get a touchdown or 2. Maybe a touchdown. What's going on?
Guess it wasn't live. Just the shot. It looks like we're getting a little bit of the grainy feel because the sun's coming in through the window. Makes it that nice, awful lighting. So I'm just going to fix that. I just don't buy Sean McCoy as being he's the
lead.
The lead, but it doesn't mean he's going to get the all-important goal line carries or, the other carries. But, yeah, I think he's a fine play in the flex spot. I just don't think that he's as high as you have him, which is basically a start. So
Yeah. He likes the snow, apparently, too.
He does. I've told you the story before, but I'm going to tell the viewers, the listeners. Several years ago, Matt Stafford in Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Matt Stafford was my fantasy quarterback in a league where you got 2 points for every 5 completions. So Matt Stafford was pretty good in that league because Matt Stafford threw a whole lot of passes. And I didn't have a backup quarterback that was anything good because who cares about a backup quarterback? And it was snowing. I'm like, oh, not a big deal. Ended up snowing like this high, and LaShawn McCoy ran wild over the Lions, and Stafford didn't even put up 10 points. And I lost.
Nice.
And that's how that season ended. So that's why we talk weather on this show. Told you about the snow in Green Bay.
No snow in Green Bay.
Sorry, the cold weather in Green Bay, but the snow in Kansas City, that won't be a problem. It's very important this time of year, in December. Some places are cold, some places get snow, and snow affects games big time, so does rain. Remember that San Francisco against Washington game?
Yeah.
It was 9-0 in the final.
Even San Fran versus Baltimore on that rainstorm. Neither team did as much as they should have.
Not much passing, a lot of running though, and that was fine for those teams.
Yeah.
And the surprise monster at that game. But anyways, James White, Matt, you're not a fan of him this week. You have him at 36, so you're basically saying sit this man or take a borderline flex in
I don't know.
PPR.
Am I still in the old school mentality that this is their passing back? I guess
he's their everything back. So that won't he's basically their everything back.
Yeah. If he's overtaking Michelle, then he moves up. And I just feel like he's the guy that they put in passing situations. And they shouldn't have a ton in Cincinnati. They should be well in hand in that game. So I don't like him this week for running.
The way that his team has gone is they start Michelle, realize he's not very good.
Yeah.
Take him out.
Put in Burkhead.
Put in James White and then sprinkle in Burkhead. And last week, Michelle didn't see any playing time after the first quarter. I don't think he saw the field.
Yeah, I think Michelle's going to be featured today because I think that they're going to be up by quite a bit, and that's not going to be any harm having him run for 3 or 4 yards every time.
I just don't think Michelle's healthy, and I have them kind of both in the same spot. Because I do agree it's going to be, but I think it's going to be James White early and then Sony Michelle late, unless they decide to go Burkhead. So that's the risk there. But I think James White should get enough yardage, enough points to be fantasy viable, which is why I have him at 22. I guess I should have made this mine since Mr. Black is on board with you at 33. But let's move on to Kareem Hunt. I have him at 17. I love Kareem Hunt this week. You're still not buying this. We talk about it on the podcast.
Love Kareem Hunt every week.
Kareem Hunt has been better than Nick Chubb 5 of the 6 weeks or 4 of the 5 weeks. All the weeks but 1 in PPR formats. We're talking PPR here. And where do you have Nick Chubb ranked this week? Top 10?
Yeah, probably.
So why would Hunt not be at close to that at least? You still think he's the passing down back, but
Yeah, I do.
he gets so much work.
So many touches?
He gets
What
like
do you think,
15.
like 15 touches for him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of what I'm thinking with Shady. You know me, backup running backs. I don't like them that much.
But you look at it like LaShawn McCoy is one of 3 on a team. Sure, he's the bigger part, but
Yeah.
he's going to get 50% of the touches for Kansas City. Kareem Hunt it's not even a situation where he's going to get 50% of touches because they use both on the field at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at their
Yeah,
stats or
they'll
how many snaps they played, they're like one's at 80, the one's at like 65. So they're out there a lot. I just think Kareem Hunt's a way better play than LaShawn McCoy this week. Get Kareem Hunt in your lineups. Love Kareem Hunt. Let's go on to Devonta Freeman.
Who's playing himself?
Yep. He's playing San Fran.
Yeah, I know that.
It's at San Fran. I have him ranked 39,
Yeah.
and I am sticking with that. Papley put something on that. He is not going to go anywhere against this defense. He is a okay running back. Terrible line. I mean, last week they had success, but so did Brian Hill. Brian Hill looked amazing last week against Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's Carolina.
I mean, you could probably run for about 2.5 yards per carry against Carolina.
Maybe.
You just got to fall forward. That's how you do
No,
it.
you gotta run from 5 yards back.
No, you just have them so they set up so that you're way closer and you just get to the line and just fall forward. Whatever hole. As soon as somebody's coming, you're like, ah, just crash.
No, Devonta's not a great start this week. Borderline startable here in the running back spot. Definitely good for flex. Again, this is something we talked about a bit on the podcast. I just expect him to try to get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands quick. And that's going to mean he's going to catch probably about 4 or 5 balls. And that's going to give him 5 points by himself. Throw in about 80 yards combined. 13 points. It's definitely startable for running backs there. You have a question?
No.
Voting?
Just sharing the results from yesterday's poll.
Oh, yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Exactly.
I don't buy it. Sit Devonta Freeman everywhere, and he's going to get maybe 60 yards. A couple catches. I mean, it really comes down to the catches. If he can get 6 or so catches, but he hasn't done that much this year with the catches, so I'm just not buying him.
All right. We'll see.
Odell Beckham Jr. Matt, I have him ranked at 33.
I see that.
He's going up against Arizona.
In a game you expect to be high scoring.
A game I expect to be high scoring. If he was playing a different matchup, he'd be outside the top 40 for me. That's the only reason he's anywhere near the top 30 is because he's playing Arizona. Baker came out and said that he has a sports hernia and he should have had it operated on, had surgery in the offseason. Basically the training staff he threw under the bus saying they messed up and they didn't have him do the surgery, and now he's been playing with that all season, so he's not 100%. So sports hernia can't really do what he does, which is be dynamic, be more athletic than everyone, go up and get crazy catches. You know, he got tackled on that one play where he got behind the defender from behind. That doesn't happen to Odell Beckham. You know, he's fast and he's elusive, and he just hasn't been that this year. He's basically a possession receiver at this point, and he's playing at about 80%, which is still good enough to get his stat line, and he's going to get some catches. He might get a touchdown. I have him in the lineup, and remember I said on the show, if I had till Sunday, I would have convinced myself to start Crowder. Stupid Crowder playing on Thursday. Why couldn't you play on Sunday? He'd be in there. But unfortunately, I got OBJ.
Well, Crowder did drop a touchdown too.
Think he catches a touchdown?
He did catch it after it.
Make up touchdown? Yeah.
Yeah, a
So-
much harder touchdown. But anyway, we're not talking about Crowder.
No, but OBJ's not, like, I'm not saying sit. Like, fine, you want to
Well,
start him,
That's
put him in.
flex for you.
Yeah, in a 3 wide receiver set, he's okay. And you could flex him if you had to. I know it's tough to sit a guy like that, but he's not that guy that we've seen. He's 80% at best of that guy. Well, maybe even 60% of that guy.
Well, I finally put Landry ahead of him.
But that's because Landry's been playing well, so that's not difficult to do. But I'm putting him way back. And I'm sure next week, I don't know who they play, but if they play like the Ravens, which I assume they play
They
at some
do
point.
actually, yeah. They play Montgomery.
I will most likely put him outside the top 40 next week.
Well, the reason I know that is because I was looking at who Lamar Jackson plays.
And yeah, OBJ might be a drop candidate for next week for me.
No, I wouldn't go that far with him, but
In a standard league where it's just redraft, like it's the last week of the season, if you need somebody. And in sneaky play, you drop them, hoping that the person you're playing picks them up and starts them, and then you're laughing.
could be.
Talk about Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders playing Atlanta. I have him at 31, so just a couple spots ahead of Odell Beckham. You have him one spot behind Odell Beckham at 19, and Mr. Black has him 4 spots back from his OBJ ranking at number 23. But before we get to that, we have a question from Isaiah Balsohard. Battle of the Devontaes. Adams or Parker, full PPR.
You gotta go Adams, right? Like, the weather can't scare you that far away from Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I agree. You have to go Adams. Adams is...
Like, we're talking about wide receiver top 7 or 8 by most people versus...
Maybe 20?
Around, 20.
He's not a bad play this week, Parker, but it's not Devontae Adams. When you're asking the battle of Devontaes, it's always going to be Adams to me.
Yeah.
You would need to have...
Unless Adams is on bye.
Good. You got me.
Um,
Thanks for the question, Isaiah. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already.
Parker's got a good matchup, too, with the Giants.
Yep.
But no.
It's still the Dolphins, though.
That's in New York, right?
That is in New York.
Yeah.
Yes, Fitzpatrick's playing... Yeah, they think they played the Jets last week, even though they played the Giants both in New York.
Nice.
Weird scheduling. I mean, they could have just stayed in New York.
Maybe.
Emmanuel Sanders, with Jimmy G being so low for me, that's why I have Sanders down here. I'm sure Debo's kind of around the spot, but further back. I just don't think... I think it's going to be a running game, and that's what I'm going with, and that's what I'm sticking with. So I'm avoiding Jimmy G. I'm avoiding the wide receivers. No chance I'm avoiding
Aren't you
Kittle.
starting Jimmy G in Yahoo?
No, I switched that.
Oh.
I had that as a just like a fake distraction.
Okay. I talked about Wiley, Garoppolo, kind of the same boat with Emmanuel Sanders, so not really a huge reason to keep going with that.
Dallas Goedert, Matt. Why do you always hate Dallas Goedert? Oh, right, backup tight end.
Backup
You
tight
hate
end.
backup tight ends. You
I
don't
just hate
understand.
backups in general.
Okay, name one wide receiver on this team that's playing this week. Go.
JC Arcega-Whiteside?
Is he
I
playing?
don't know.
You say JC because it's JJ.
JJ. Yeah, I don't know why I said JC. Yeah, I panicked, alright?
Can you name another one? Because he might not be playing.
Ward. His
Okay.
last name's Ward. Number
And-
84.
First name?
No, I don't know it.
And
Greg?
just so you
I think it's
don't...
Greg.
Yeah, it could be a great word. By the way, Matt Collins plays for the Dolphins. I know you
Yeah, I
brought
didn't say
him up.
Mac Collins.
No, I know, but we talked about him, and
Yeah.
we didn't know who he played for. I had to look it up. He plays for the Dolphins.
Very good.
So, to me, he's this number 2 wide receiver on this team after Ertz.
Yeah, he's
They're probably going to run so many 2 tight end sets that he's basically the second wide receiver on this team.
He doesn't do enough though. He does. He really doesn't for that position. Like the week that Zach Ertz screwed me last week, didn't.
Whoa, language, Matt, language.
What? Zach Ertz?
He
Name.
said screwed.
Oh. Yeah, he didn't catch a
Think of the
touchdown
children.
instead of Zach Ertz. That was no. Don't like you, Dallas Goedert. Neither you two are starting him either.
No, and I was surprised by that because he's basically number 2, but there's so many guys that I like this week. Like the next guy we're going to talk about, O.J. Howard. He's back. He's a start for me. I guess I did have some ballsy starts and I couldn't find them. But I guess tight ends. I've had several quarterbacks to sit. Anyways, it's the semis, so it's not the time to be ballsy. But O.J. Howard. Love O.J. Howard this week. Going up against Detroit. Going to show them how to use a tight end since they haven't figured it out since Ebron was there and even before that. It looks like it's cold outside. And Howard is a money start. Had somebody ask me today, and they had a bunch of good options. I went with Doyle. They had Doyle,
Jack Doyle.
Howard. It might have been Njoku, but I was like, those are great options.
Kelsey.
No, it wasn't Kelsey. So, but Doyle is the much safer play here
Yeah.
because Doyle is going to get... It's a great matchup, too, for Doyle. So, can't go away from Doyle. But O.J. Howard, get him in the lineup. He's probably out there for free.
Oh, he's out there in most leagues, I'm sure.
And if you need a tight end this week, he's going to be money.
I
probably
don't
start
trust him
Higby
enough
over
to
him.
start him. I would definitely start Higby over him. Yeah.
Yeah, you started 18 people over him.
This is true. And
Oh.
Higby's one of them.
And Njoku's the next one we're going to talk about here, and actually the last guy we're going to talk about before we get into the Sunday Showdown. Remember to get your question in, so don't think you're interrupting us. We're here to answer your questions. We just do this to give you content, so we're not just sitting here waiting. David Njoku is a huge boomer bust play this week, and the more I think of it, the more I'm like very skeptical that he's going to do anything. But there was some good news. There was thought that maybe he had like an ankle issue, and then he was right off. He was fine 100% the next day. So he's back. He's ready to go. Is he going to get full snaps? He got less than 35% last week. The other tight ends are terrible, and some of them are injured. I don't even know who's left there. I don't know if RSJ or Hilliard are even still playing, but
There's that Demetrius Harris stuff. Not good, but he's there. No, he's probably the
Njoku
second.
is a huge boomer bust play.
Yeah, no, and easily by the number 3 pass catcher in that offense after Beckham and Jarvis.
Number 4.
Oh, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt
Alright.
is the number 2 option in that offense
Okay.
after Landry.
You think he's gonna get more targets than Beckham this week?
Hunt?
Yeah.
Probably not, but he'll probably catch more balls.
Maybe, but he's not. Whoever gets more targets is the number.
I guess if you're going to go that way. But I think at the same time, Baker has to force the ball to OBJ some weeks.
Like, Kareem Hunt is gonna get easy little swing passes and stuff. You know? Not Odell.
All right, it's time for the game that is sweeping the nation. Matt, you lost again last week.
Nice. Well, I'm
Wasn't very close either.
Make it interesting.
So, did you look at my notes?
I did not.
Good.
I did not see this list until about 10
Well, I'll give you a couple minutes as I read through
No,
it
that's okay.
for the viewers so that they can see it, because they can't see the list either.
website.
So, go over the rules. We each pick a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and we pick the flex for the other person. Just our spin on the game that is sweeping the nation. We have players in the A group, you get 2 of those. Players in the C group, you get 2 of those. And players in the B group, you get 4 of those. So quarterbacks in the A group, Ryan Tannehill, who Matt will definitely not be picking, and Russell Wilson. Quarterbacks in the B group, Tom Brady and Jimmy G, who I will definitely not be picking. Quarterbacks in the C group, Gardner Minshew and the Red Rocket Andy Dalton. Running backs in the A group, we got a list of who's of some really good running backs here.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette. Whew. Can't take all 3. Can only take 2. In the B group, Ronald Jones, Joey Jojo Mixon, Matt's favorite player this week, David Montgomery, Carlos Hyde, Tariq Cohen, Melvin Gordon. And in the C group, J.D. McKissick, Chris Thompson, who replaces Bo Scarborough, who is out, and David Johnson. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
In the C group.
Oh, DJ.
Caught a touchdown last week. Wide receivers, some nice names in the A group. Kenny Galladay, Tyreek Hill, and Julian Edelman. Where's the B group? We got some heavy hitters here. Adam Thielen, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Michael Gallup, Odell Beckham Jr., who I won't be picking, Decaf Metcalf, Sammy Watkins, Tyrell Williams, who is dealing with plantar fasciitis, is what I've been told. I've had that in the past. It's basically your heel. You can't walk on it. So you're basically walking on like the balls of your feet, and it's a pain injury. Like you can play through it, but it's basically the pad on the bottom of your foot is not doing anything.
Makes sense why he's been so bad.
Yeah, because like it's basically inflamed. So think of like if your like wrist is inflamed, how you try to avoid using it. But if the bottom of your heel is inflamed, you have to kind of avoid stepping on it. It's really difficult to do. But it's a pain tolerance injury, and can't blame the guy for playing that bad if that's what he's dealing with. Curtis Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders, who I won't be picking, round out the B group. As for the C's, we have Alan Lazard, Danny Amendola, and how the mighty have fallen, Brandon Cooks in the C group. Tight ends, Darren Waller, Hunter Henry in the A, Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki in the B, Jason Witten and Darren Fells in the C group. Now it's time to pick, and I'm deciding if I want to pick first or second, and I'm going to pick first. Give me Melvin Gordon out of the B group, Matt.
Okie dokie. That's who I was going to select if I went first as well.
That's why I went first. I got the notes right here.
I see.
The winning formula.
Very nice. Very nice. Right. You know what? Let's go with
You're obviously taking Joe Mixon.
I'm gonna take Chris Carson out of A. So I
Okay.
just think that's a great matchup for him.
It is a great matchup.
Everybody likes that matchup.
I think all three of those are really good.
Yeah.
You know that Alexander Matheson's out.
I didn't know that. CJ Ham time.
CJ Ham time.
And let's go with. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take a wide receiver.
Okay.
That's disclosed. And it is going to be.
You want to just tell us the group first, kind of slowly
Nope.
build into it?
I'm gonna go with. Well, we have tons of extra time today.
I'm well aware.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Cortland Sutton
Cortland Sutton at Kansas City.
in the snow. Ish.
All right. I will take Terry McLaurin
Okay.
against the Eagles.
Yep. I looked at him.
And this is going to shock you a bit.
Joe Mixon. Okay.
I'm going to take Danny Amendola.
Amendola. That doesn't shock me because I looked at him as well.
Okay. Well, I just thought with Brandon Cooks there, that name is it was really
No,
enticing.
and that's sad that we're looking at Amendola over Brandon Cooks.
I mean,
That's just
imagine-
the high floor, right?
So preseason, Brandon Cooks, David Johnson get both on your team. You're pretty happy. Now they're in the C group, and we're picking other guys at those positions over them. Like I doubt that McKissick or Chris Thompson will get picked ahead of David Johnson.
No, probably not. But that's.
But McKissick with Bo Scarborough out
Yeah. No, actually.
could be a play there, and he has a pass catching back. This is half PPR.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I just like Danny Amendola with Marvin Jones out.
Yeah,
Right?
that's.
And is Marvin Hall on IR as well?
I don't know.
Either way, I think it's a good play.
Yeah.
I don't think McKissick's that bad of a play now,
No.
but it's a tough D there.
Let's take.
So far, the strats is going perfectly.
I'll take Emmanuel Sanders. I probably could have waited on that. But that's
Oh
okay.
yeah, he wasn't gonna get taken by me.
I just didn't,
I mean, Odell's there too. Like,
Yeah.
it's Odell Beckham. He used to be an A guy.
Actually, yeah, he was. He actually did have him one spot ahead of Emmanuel, but. I'm gonna take. It's gonna take Jason Witten out of the C group there.
Ah,
Oh, was that your next one?
no, it was something I was considering.
Possible. Okay.
Yeah, but it just means I have to go a different direction, and that's quite fine by me. So why don't you give me Gardner Minshew so I get my C pick out of the way,
Oof.
and give me Darren Waller.
And he's out of A. Okay. You do realize that he is playing the Jaguars.
I don't know, does that scare me or something?
No. Just making sure you know.
That seems like a good matchup.
Okay. Okay, so I need 2 Bs, 1 C, 1 A. Okay. I'm not gonna go there for that. So let's go up here. I will take Tyreek Hill in the snow. Gonna go with that game.
Does he like the snow?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think Tyreek Hill likes the snow.
Alright.
I think he
I
likes
think
breaking
that-
people's arms though.
The snow. Ooh, wow. Yeah. Anyway,
All right, we got a question here before you get into your huge rant that you're about to go on.
No,
I can
it's not
tell by
huge.
how many breaths you took before that. Devontae
I
Adams
regret.
in the cold or AJ Brown? Still Devontae
I gotta
Adams,
go
right?
Adams still, yeah. People are really down on Adams because of that cold, eh?
Yeah, I don't think it's a factor. I mean, they live there when it's cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a little bit of a factor, I think, but not like...
It's cold.
Don't drop someone like 20 spots down. Like, if you want to go, say, somebody around 12 or 13 instead of Adams...
Yeah, drop 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you want to start like Galladay instead of him or something.
that makes sense. Yeah. Even Adelman in a PPR league, if you were going to go with him.
Yeah.
But even that's close. Even that, I'd be like, I don't know. Because it's the cold. Okay, so the cold makes your hands cold, harder to catch the ball. The gloves, they can catch it. It's not going to be a bunch of drop passes. It's going to be fine. And he's the only wide receiver there. Like, Alan Lazard is literally number 2. The other 2 guys that started as 2 and 3s are just disappeared.
MVS and Allison. And
Garbage.
We're going to go with Mr. David Johnson.
Ooh, David Johnson.
Welcome aboard.
I'm pretty sure he's been picked out of the A group before in games.
Yeah, possibly.
Early in the season.
And he was probably taken out of the A group the game he didn't even play.
Could have been.
Maybe. Anyway, you need a running back and a wide receiver.
Okay.
And you got two Bs and an A left.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with in the cold guy who played at Iowa. There's Iowa State. I can't remember.
Yeah.
David Montgomery.
Montgomery. That's gonna be out of the B.
And I guess I need a wide receiver.
You need a wide receiver out of either A or B.
Okay, well let's go B. So I don't want you sticking me one of these crappy guys. And we are going to go with man in the back is going to be shadowed all day. So let's go with Michael Gallup. Just because I don't trust what Thielen's going to do. We got a message from our good friend of the show, Chad Coleman. Hello, gentlemen. I've asked Matt this already, but throwing it out there again. Wentz or Jameis. Also Wentz or Jimmy. I'm assuming G. That's 2 different leagues.
Yeah, it's
Remind me who Wentz is playing?
Washington.
Jameis for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't like Jimmy G, so...
And I do like Jimmy G.
So I'd go Wentz in that second one.
Oops.
He doesn't have a lot of weapons. Let's see my ranking. I have to have Wentz in the starting lineup. I had Jimmy G at, what, 16?
Yeah, you must have Wentz ahead.
Must have Wentz ahead. So it's Wentz for me, but it's definitely Winston.
Jameis and Jimmy sticking to that, Chad. Mostert, or I'm guessing that's Melvin Gordon at running back too. You got to go Melvin Gordon there.
Yeah, you definitely have to go Melvin Gordon there. With Mostert, although he is the lead there, he's not. He only had like 10 carries last game.
Yeah.
Did a lot with them and caught some passes, but Melvin Gordon is the man. Even in the last week's game when Eckler went off, he was still good.
Yeah, he was still good.
And it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Mccoy versus Gengar. Thanks so much for the question. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Chad, same to you. I'm sure you're already subscribed though.
Hey, Chad.
How long you
playing fantasy football for? Oh yeah, 20 years right here. It's not gonna change.
Can't believe I missed that. Yeah, I have Wentz at 14, so only a couple spots ahead. Back to the Sunday Showdown.
I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo. Actually, yeah, I'll take Jimmy G. Chad's using profanity in a acronym there.
All right, Matt. Non-PPR. Here's the question: Mostert or Alvin Kamara? Non-PPR.
I still gotta go Kamara.
It's really close.
Trust Kenny G. I can trust Kenny Galladay for the rest of the year here.
Oh yeah. I mean, who else is gonna pass you? Danny Amendola?
And I don't think I can keep it up, Chad.
Yeah, Kenny G's. Who does he play next week? It's not.
We didn't even figure that out. But it's Detroit.
It's a great matchup this week, and I know Tampa's taking away the number 1 receivers, but he's gonna be like the only guy, and he's gonna get his. He's that good.
He has DJ Moore, Julio Jones, Devonta Parker, Kenny Galladay, Tyler.
How many are you starting?
Yeah. Because you gotta go. Julio's always gonna be in. Galladay.
Not worried. And I'm not worried about it. Julio, DJ Moore, Kenny G
Not
are
with
the top
Richard,
3.
what's called?
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman. Hell yeah. Even if they gotta throw to somebody, Julio's good enough.
Yeah, no, you gotta go Julio. I'm just wondering if I have. Is this PPR or standard there, Mako? Julio, Moore, and Kenny G.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
That's the correct 3 that I would start.
I'm almost positive Richard Sherman's not playing.
Yeah, Sherman. I'm pretty positive he's out. But I will double check for you right now.
PPR,
because that's what we do. Sherman. Murder.
Yeah, okay. You're getting Edelman for your flex. Big fan, though. Y'all are underrated. Thank you.
Thanks, man. All right, so we're just going here to Roto. Figure it out. Expects to return against the Rams in Week 16. He won't be on the field this week. He's out. Okay, so you gave me Julian Edelman. So now it's my turn to pick somebody for you?
Yeah. So
Out of B?
B, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That one was PPR or no, Chad? I think it was half, I think.
Montgomery or James White? Is that half part?
I think it's half. Oh, nice lunches here.
Nice.
I go Montgomery.
Now you left me a huge list of players that I can take here.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out who my lowest ranked player is.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
I mean, we got the time.
There's a lot of bad receivers here.
Well, I'm looking at one specifically who we talked about having some heel pain.
Oh, no, he's good for today. They gave him some sort of foot injection.
Oh, yeah, it's just another pain.
Yeah. Yeah, half point PPR. I would go Montgomery. Do you like James White or Montgomery is what Chad's asking here.
I'm going to take a look here at my rankings. Found on Blue Duck Fantasy.com. You can sort them by my rankings so that you get the correct ones instead of the consensus.
How's your number 6 quarterback looking for this week?
Who's my number 6 quarterback?
Lamar Jackson.
Well, he's definitely in the top 6.
Number 1.
Sorry, who's the second one?
Montgomery or James White?
So I have James White. I have got James White 3 spots ahead of him.
Oh.
But with the cold, and I'm assuming Trubisky won't be able to play in the cold.
Oh, no, he's playing.
I know, but he won't be able to play well in the cold, so they'll probably have to run the ball a lot.
He can't play well in the best conditions.
He's been on fire lately. I'd go Montgomery. Because of the weather, I think he's going to get a lot more touches. Right, so trying to figure out which garbage running back to give you here. How far down is Tariq Cohen?
He's a freak.
Tariq Cohen, the
Super
40th.
freak. Super freak.
Carlos Hyde's got to be higher than that, yep.
Oh, yeah. Carlos Hyde's
So-
probably top 25.
Where's Rojo, though?
He's probably ahead of 40. Anyway, whatever.
I'm not seeing Ronald Jones here. Oh, there he is. Yeah. All right, so Tariq is the worst one there, but I'm not giving you Tariq yet because I'm looking at wide receivers.
Jeez, I just started writing.
Well, scratch it out and write something else. Guys, make sure you get your questions in. We are about 12 minutes to kick off.
Usually about 7 minutes before you have to have your lineup set.
Really?
I think they're 11:55. My finals. Zeke and Derrick Henry. That's a tough match. Those are good plays again. You know what? Derrick Henry's hamstring maybe factor.
And Jamal Williams. Could be a Jamal Williams game.
Yeah, you know what? Like, if you go back to game week 1, they didn't do anything against Chicago. Tons has changed since then. The offense has got better. Defense seems to have gotten a little worse. But the Packers' offense has not been great the last couple weeks either. But I think Aaron Jones is going to get, like, a lot of touches just because it's cold and, you know, they're going to make sure he's a big part of their game today. Hopefully you got good guys to combat Zeke and Henry and Jones there for your running backs. You have good wide receivers. We went through that already. Just gonna see which one of these bad players you're getting.
Were you serious about the Tyrell Williams thing?
No.
Because right now it's leaning towards Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, it's another one of those leagues, though, that are ending in week 15. Instead, they're becoming more and more a thing. Week 17 was when I first started playing fantasy, like way back then. Most people were going then. Then it went to 16, which has been like that for like 15 years, and now more and more leagues are going even earlier.
Tyrell Williams.
So I could have kept my T.
Nobody told you to crash it out.
You did.
All I got at running back is Mostert, Cook, and Gordon. I do have Ertz.
That's not a bad
Wilson and
trio.
Tannehill with Pat's defense at Butker. Pretty strong teams can be. Yeah, that is a strong team. I like it.
Tyrell Williams. Woof.
All right, so why don't you go over the winning team? You took my Henry, my Witten, so I had to go a different direction.
Okay, so Ben has Gardner Minshew, Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery, Terry McLaurin, Michael Gallup, Danny Amendola, Darren Waller, and Julian Edelman. I have Jimmy Garoppolo,
Boo.
Chris Carson,
Yay.
DJ,
David Johnson. Boo.
Cortland Sutton,
Yay.
Emmanuel Sanders,
Boo.
Tyreek Hill,
Boo.
Jason Witten,
Yay.
Tyrell Williams.
Boo. Yeah, surprised that
A very mixed reaction.
I didn't get. I guess I should have went with Dalvin Cook at some point.
You're very surprised you didn't select a player?
Well, I didn't take one of those guys because I want to take one of those running backs. But once you took the tight end, I didn't want Noah Fant. I don't trust Noah Fant. So.
Well, which is the key.
No, I trust that even less. And I wasn't going to go Darren Fells. So
No.
I went with Waller. He's been awesome. Love Darren Waller.
Maybe David Johnson will be his old self today.
So we got some time. We are going to talk about.
5 minutes here.
Um,
I want to go through our head-to-head match.
yeah, let's do that. So Matt and I are playing each other.
Wow, drop DJ Chark. Well, this is your finals. He's not playing, so that's is what it is.
Yeah, you made it to the finals. It doesn't matter. But we're going to go over our matchup. I'm going to set my lineup. And if you want to just drop some players. So I got a 45%
today.
chance. Who'd you do?
Gerald Everett.
Drop Gerald Everett?
Yeah. Pick up Adrian Peterson. Sit on my bench. Just so you can pick him up.
All right, so
Josh Jacobs.
this is the best setup league in the history of fantasy football leagues. You start one quarterback, one running back, 2 wide receivers, and 3 flex. Now, you're probably thinking, where's the tight end? There's no tight end? You can start a tight end. Tight ends have favorable scoring. They get a point every 10 yards, whereas running backs and wide receivers get a point every 15 yards. So that makes the league...
It's half PPR.
Yeah, half PPR. It's tight end premium. There's also IDP players, defensive lineman, linebacker, defensive back, and then a flex, whichever one you want, which is usually a linebacker.
Yeah.
Anybody playing somebody other than linebacker is getting weirdly drafted. So my team, underdog, 45% chance to win, had Robbie Anderson go on Thursday and get me 8 points because of that 2-point conference. So good, acceptable.
Not bad.
Didn't know what the situation was with Everett and Higbee, but I did have Higbee that I could put in. Another comment here from Mako versus Gengar. Yeah, I tricked myself at the start of the year. I thought it was good at wide receiver while Keenan was in his promise. Oh yeah, he was dominating early in the season. Yeah, we're playing in the semis.
We're playing each other in the semis.
This is technically not the latest that we can see each other, but we are in the same division, so one of us would have to finish 4th and get the crossover and go through the other division to get there. So this is technically if we both have good seasons, this is where we end up. Drew Brees, starting quarterback, versus... I guess I'll just put up your team. See who you're starting. Kirk Cousins, who I dropped not that long ago.
Yeah.
If I hadn't dropped him, or I had picked him back up, who would you be starting?
Rodgers.
Well, I hope that you picking up Cousins and not dropping him for me last week when I wanted him, even though Drew Brees went for 40 and winning my matchup. Edge in the quarterback department.
Yeah.
Right here. Running back, Saquon Barkley against Miami. Aaron Jones versus Chicago.
Oh, I thought I was Zeke there. Doesn't matter.
No. because I won. So you have him there. So that's even?
I'd give it Saquon.
Okay.
It's like,
At wide receiver, Robbie Anderson versus Stephon Diggs. That's about the same. That's a bigger edge. Diggs. At wide receiver, Cortland Sutton versus Devontae Adams. That's going to be Adams. In the flex, Kenny Golladay versus Zeke. That's going to be Zeke.
yeah.
Michael Thomas versus Allen Robinson. Another one for you, Michael Thomas. And then the last one is either going to be Josh Jacobs or Washington.
Sounds like Jacobs is going
or Higbee. Or last minute Sony Michel desperation play at the 4 o'clock game.
Yeah, go Sony Michel.
Against Travis Kelce, so that's another edge for Kelce regardless of the matchup. Kicker, we won't even talk about because we don't talk kickers.
Who cares?
DL, Bosa, Jordan.
Bosa.
Leonard, Wagner, linebacker.
Leonard, yeah.
Collins, Simmons, the DB. I have no idea who Simmons is.
He plays for Denver.
I see that, but I don't know his first name. Is it Justin?
Justin, yeah.
I would have guessed. So I'll go Landon Collins.
Yeah.
And Fred Warner versus Blake Martinez. Remember what happened last time you played against Fred Warner? He was playing against, was it your
Green Bay?
Packers?
Yeah, it was Green Bay.
And so, yeah, he doesn't like you, and he's going to be coming after you. I'm going to go edge Fred Warner here. So my defense is what's been, kind of keeping me afloat. Whereas you have some better guys. You left Crowder on the bench. Dumb rookie mistake. 55% chance to win. 45% chance for me. It's going to come down to Josh Jacobs.
He's supposed to play?
Yeah, I know, but how much is he going to play?
No. Imagine full workload.
Yeah, I like my chances.
Yeah, good.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. How many leagues are you still live in?
3.
3 for me as well.
Talk about that.
I don't have a chance in my Yahoo matchup. I was playing against Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Hollywood Brown, and
Hollywood too.
Mark Andrews. Just bet his life savings on the Titans today. Well, MB Curl, that was dumb. Because they might win, but it's not locked by any means. So hopefully you can take that back because we don't want you to be broke. Make sure you hit that like button though.
Well, based off of the emblem that's beside his name, I'm not surprised.
Yes, he appears to be a Titans fan, so it's definitely going with his heart and not his head.
I picked the Titans to win too.
I'm not saying they're not going to win. I have Houston winning, but it's a close matchup. It's a good matchup, and you don't go betting your life savings.
It does rely a lot on the hamstring of Derrick Henry, I think. If it's not good, then they're not going to win.
Fair enough. Yeah, so in that matchup, and he also had Crowder, who he left on the bench. So if he had started Crowder, he would have been over 100 points on Thursday.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm projected to score 95.
Very perfect.
So Matt versus myself in the 11th place game. Ooh, it's a big matchup.
Don't even check that league.
All right, so Matt's apparently he's a terrible owner and is quit.
I don't check leagues. That's I'm out.
Matt is against consolation playoffs.
Yeah.
Fine by me. Well, get your thoughts on this. This has been kind of trending. In that league, how do you feel about you picking up a player off of waivers?
Not off of waivers. I'm okay with after waivers is run, go for it.
So you think that
The teams that are in get first priority on waivers, but once those are done, if
and
nobody
this
else wants
is
them,
in a 1 year league, right?
Yeah.
Because in leagues where it's longer than a year, you should always be trying to make
I
the best
personally
of-
don't do it because I don't care anymore. But if people want to do it,
I'm all for it. I think just because they're eliminated, it does not mean that they should stop playing fantasy football. And that's really all they can do to play fantasy football is to pick people up. Now they shouldn't be able to drop people that
No.
are that's as terrible as it gets, is dropping people that are going to have an impact. But I'm all for, like, if you're in the finals and you're like, oh, I got Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Washington's there, I got higher waiver wire priority. That's on you for using your waiver wire priority improperly. Have at it, man. That's how you play. Like, when you're out, eliminated, you set your lineup so you can beat someone, so you can knock somebody else out. When you're not playing or you're in a consolation bracket, you pick people so that teams lose. You want to have an effect on the outcome. So I'm all for it. I think it's great.
consolation does nothing though.
Oh, I know, but if you pick up a player to block somebody in the playoffs again, like the Josh Jacobs things, right? If Josh Jacobs out and I pick up DeAndre Washington and now the guy's pissed and I'm just like, and then you go play for your 11th place game. So
No.
I think I'm
We're
all
different
for
on
it.
that, but all right.
All for it. You should have used your waiver wire priority better during the year. Unless it's a league where the waiver resets every week to the worst team,
Yeah.
then I'm completely against it because then you should just change the waiver
The
priority.
league that I'm playing, NB Curl, it resets every week.
If it resets, then I'm against teams that are out, but I don't like when it resets to the worst team every week. Like that's why I like Fab Budget, and that's why I like when it's just continually rolling, so that once you use it, you go to the back of the line. And there's strategy into using the waiver wire. You've been in the top 2 in our main league all season, haven't used the waiver wire priority at all.
Yeah.
And last week to use it next week.
Whoever
so
is in
better
first
use it.
doesn't use it yet.
No, they're also still in too. So we have a last minute question here. See if we can get this answered.
Wow.
Manuel Sanders or Raheem Mostert?
We'll start.
Mostert.
That's a 3 o'clock start, so that doesn't matter.
So we got him.
Yeah. But speaking of, it is
Oh,
game time.
Wentz. Kyler is another one. Wentz, Kyler, or Fitzpatrick?
Not Fitz.
It's Kyler.
Yeah. Anyway, it's game time, so enjoy the game, everybody. That's still on.
Yeah, guys, thanks for stopping in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next week for the final episode of the Fantasy Football Pregame Show, brought to you by Blue Duck Fantasy Football. It's actually 12:01. We're out of here. See you later. That's it.